Once his conquest was complete, and all potential rivals were exterminated, Octavian immediately set to work incorporating Egypt into the Roman Empire. The nuances of the transition of power from the Ptolemies to the Roman Empire were described by Dio as follows. In the case of the Egyptians and the Alexandrians, he spared them all, so that none perished. The truth was that he did not see fit to inflict any irreparable injury upon a people so numerous who might prove very useful to the Romans in many ways. Nevertheless, he offered, as a pretext for his kindness, their god Serapis, their founder Alexander, and, in the third place, their fellow citizen Arius, of whose learning and companionship he availed himself. The speech in which he proclaimed to them his pardon he delivered in Greek, so that they might understand him. After this he viewed the body of Alexander, and actually touched it, whereupon, it is said, a piece of the nose was broken off. But he declined to view the remains of the Ptolemies, though the Alexandrians were extremely eager to show them, remarking, "I wish to see a king, not corpses." For the same reason he would not enter the presence of Apis, either declaring that he was accustomed to worship gods, not cattle. For, in view of the populousness of both the cities and country, the facile, fickle character of the inhabitants, and the extent of the grain supply and of the wealth, so far from daring to entrust the land to any senator, he would not even grant a senator permission to live in it, except as he personally made the concession to him by name. On the other hand, he did not allow the Egyptians to be senators in Rome. Thus was Egypt enslaved. All the inhabitants who resisted for a time were finally subdued, as, indeed, heaven very clearly indicated to them beforehand. Augustus's domination of Rome was largely achieved through patronage, dependent upon his control of Egypt, which he exercised through the equestrian class rather than the traditional senatorial families. Senators had to apply for special permission to visit the province. The prefects he personally appointed had unrestricted, independent jurisdiction. In the system introduced by Augustus, and maintained with minor changes by his successors, the prefect was at the top of the governmental tree, followed by the juridicus, also someone appointed from the equestrian class, and directly appointed by the princeps himself. This office-holder had judicial power over all of Egypt. The archdecastres, chief judge, came next in the hierarchy, though he was not actually a judge, but rather an official linked to Alexandria, usually from one of Rome's leading families. He had control of debt collecting and the public record office, as well as anything connected to Alexandria. The next in seniority was the ideologus, who was the financial officer in charge of the idios logos, or special account, for Egypt. This account included the more irregular or uncertain sources of income, such as fines and confiscations. Strabo praised the system initiated by Augustus for the governance of Egypt. Egypt is now a province, and it not only pays considerable tribute, but also is governed by prudent men, the prefects who are sent there from time to time. Now he who is sent has the rank of the king, and subordinate to him is the administrator of justice, who has supreme authority over most of the lawsuits. And another is the official called ideologus, who inquires into all properties that are without owners, and that ought to fall to Caesar. And these are attended by freedmen of Caesar, as also by stewards, who are entrusted with affairs of more or less importance.
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it, at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.